Welcome to Wellbeing Weekly for Adults. How do you engage in self-care? Meditation is very important for refreshing your soul. Meditation helps you ignore distractions and apply a focus to your work.
Hello, and welcome to this short guided meditation to help you step away from the stress of daily life. I'm Sarah Raymond from the Mindful Movement. Thank you for joining me today. Start by settling into a comfortable position. Gently close your eyes. Notice your attention is shifting away from the sights, smells, tastes, sounds, and feelings around you. And you begin to bring your focus inward. Notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Feel your abdomen expand with each inhale, and feel the air as it leaves your body on each exhale. Right now, in this one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable, blessed moment in time, there is nothing more important than the present. Scan your muscles for any tension and stop when you come across a part of your body that is clenching. Take a moment to honor this tightness, breathing in a breath of love and self-nurturing, and then breathing out all of the stress that is no longer serving you. Repeat this process of scanning and releasing tension until your entire body feels in harmony. If at any time later in the day you notice the clenching feeling coming back, simply repeat this practice of breathing in love and breathing out tension. And through your breath, you will be anchored again in this present moment. Now take a moment to scan for any clutter in your mind. Your mind is like your desk, and you are more productive when it is organized and efficient. Notice if your thoughts are disorganized, darting from worry to worry, or if they are neat and purposeful. Is there anything you could put away or get rid of to make your daily life easier and less stressful? Now picture yourself clearing off your desk, putting things back where they belong, and getting rid of things you don't need. Allow the image of you organizing your desk to serve as a visual representation of you clearing your unnecessary stress. After clearing the clutter in your mind, your head feels in flow, and your thoughts come and go more calmly. You can now go through the rest of your day feeling more relaxed. When you are ready, take one more deep, slow breath, and then allow your eyes to open. You are now ready to take on the demands of daily life, and you have the ability to clear the clutter again whenever it piles up. Thank you for taking time to practice this meditation. Are you living the life of your dreams? Are you happy with your life and the direction you are going? If you would like to design your dream life and clarify your values, if you would like to begin to develop positive habits and live intentionally, if you would like to connect with your authentic self and let go of resistance, then I recommend you check out our free guided visualization to design your dream life. You can find the link in the description below. I hope you have the day of your dreams.
There are many things that you can do to engage in self-care. Board games are one of them. Board games have many benefits, one of which is that it increases brain function. According to latest research, engaging in play assists in the practical essential cognitive skills such as decision-making and higher-level strategic thinking and problem-solving. Board games are also good fun. It's good to bring the family together and have some family time. It helps in memory formation and cognitive skills. It reduces the risk of mental diseases as it keeps your brain active. It lowers your blood pressure, speeds up your response time, which reduces stress and grows your immune system.
Well, that's really great. We kind of had a lot of really deep, really weighty topics, so hopefully this is going to let you take a little bit of a breather. We're going to relax and talk about something easy and simple. But what I want to get across as a message is that something even as simple as board games can have some unforeseen consequences, can have some outcomes that can be positive in our lives and can have good results. So we're going to talk about board games, and this field has gone through a lot of different stages. We have, of course, in the history, the early board games. You have Monopoly and Risk and Sorry and all the Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley classics. And we have people who fondly remember their family game nights with those games. And that's a wonderful time, and it's good to remember those fondly. And then there was a rebirth of board games, started in the 1980s, went through the 1990s. And these board games came about for some of the social classes that maybe were considered a little bit more outcast. The geeks, the nerds, who would often get together as a respite from the lives that they lived, and they would play these games together. And there was a huge new avenue for them to play together and enjoy themselves without being ridiculed. And so we had this kind of rebirth. And since then, what's happened is those people have grown up. They're now adults. They're 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings who fondly remember those days. And they've taken it with them. And as they have, we've seen a kind of a second rebirth, a new revolution, where things like comic books, things like superheroes have become popular again. We have movies like Iron Man and the Avengers and Spider-Man. We have popular TV shows like The Big Bang Theory. And all these things are coming from what the now adult generation is remembering fondly of their childhood, and except now they are the drivers of the economy. And so they're re-experiencing these things once again, a lot of them with their children, enjoying themselves, and it's become big business. It's become something that everybody gets in on. And so this new geek chic is powering a new sort of positive feedback cycle. As it becomes more popular, it's now no longer something just that the geeks and the nerds and the outcasts experience, but we have more people who are just regular and everyday who hadn't had these experiences are now joining together. And when that happens, we get new media, new board games, new TV shows and movies and all these kinds of things that broaden in their appeal. They get new topics, they get new genres, and that leads to more diversity. And this positive feedback cycle keeps going and going. And the same thing has happened with board games. So board games today have become even bigger thanks to all of the different people who are enjoying playing them. All sorts of people with different backgrounds and all sorts of different ages and different generations coming together. And so we get not just your typical tabletop game, your games like Sorry or Risk. We get new types of games with new mechanics that help to squeeze out the juices of what it means to interact socially with one another. And two of my favorites that I want to talk about specifically is deception games and cooperative games. Now, traditionally, we had the normal, everyday competitive game where you have some number of players, maybe about 4 or 6 players, and you would play until somebody wins. But now we have new topics and new mechanics that help to drive games that people enjoy. Even if they don't like to play competitive games. So we have games where you cooperate, games where you play together towards some common goal, and everybody works side by side. They bring their ideas on how to accomplish some sort of goal. There's games where you can play and be research scientists looking to travel the world and cure a mysterious plague. And you'll do research and you'll help heal people. And everybody kind of wins or loses together. And losing's okay too, but you like to win. And then we have other games. These are games of deception, where everybody plays and they don't know who else at the table is their friend or their enemy. And you sit there and you take on a new persona, and you might undermine somebody else, or you might truthfully be working for the same goal and not even know it. And those games are always a lot of fun because afterwards, when everything is all revealed, everybody then sits around and wants to talk about what happened. They want to say, oh, I had no idea all along that you were the betrayer. And so it's a really enjoyable experience, even for those people who typically don't enjoy direct competitive games where they're just out to be the one sole winner. Okay, so we have all these new mechanics, all these new genres that are bringing more people together and making a bigger board game community. And it's doing some other interesting things too. It's taking all those people and they're getting together, but they're doing it without technology. Ironically, board games coming from an era of people who were typically considered geeks and nerds, whose role models might be people like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. But yet, when they sit down at a table, there are no computers, there are no cell phones. Matter of fact, it's frowned upon to take out your cell phone when the whole goal of the game is that you need to be interacting one-on-one. You need to be looking people in the eye. You need to be focused and attentive on what's going on. And so it's a little bit of a faux pas. And technology kind of doesn't exist in that space. It allows you to escape. And so we have this wonderful get-together of everybody. And what starts happening is we have different people from different walks of life. And the most prominent one are different age groups. There's fathers who bring their daughters. There's grandfathers who bring their grandsons. And unlike family game night where everybody sits around the table whether they want to or not and plays together, it's fun, but let's be honest, there are those people who are just there because they have to be. But here's a place where everybody is there because they want to be, and you have two people who otherwise wouldn't know each other, one who's 50 or 60, 70 years old, and one who's 7, 10, 12, sitting at a table on a completely equal footing. They're all playing by the same rules. That 10-year-old has to play the exact same game that the 70-year-old does. She's got to stand her own, and everybody works together, or everybody plays the same game, and it's kind of a beautiful thing that happens. These are people who don't necessarily know one another, and yet they're interacting socially in a way that just doesn't happen anywhere else. We have young children who think of how often do they really interact with other adults. Besides their teachers who are telling them what to do all day long, and besides their parents who are telling them what to do all day long, they don't necessarily get a lot of direct interaction where their opinion, their thoughts matter just as much as the adult next to them. But board games are providing that, and it becomes a really amazing force to help them grow and to help everybody have a quality social interaction. And so I want to share a couple personal anecdotes about just how strong that emotional bond can be and just how surprising it is. I was one day sitting down to play a game with a friend of mine, and he brings his son, his 10-year-old son in. And the boy comes up to me and he says, "Hi, it's nice to meet you. My dad has told me so much about you." And I looked at him, and then I ignored him and I turned around. I didn't even understand what he was saying. It was so unusual. And at the time I didn't realize just how mature for his age that really was. But I did understand that it was something I had never seen before. And I just didn't know how to respond. In fact, he showed me that day that he was more socially mature than I was. Ask yourself how many 10-year-olds you know like that. And we sit down and we play games, and thankfully I got to know him very, very well. But we would play games, and his thoughts, his opinions, his ideas, his insights, it turned out were not just in playing the game, but were part of him as a human being that I otherwise never would have known existed. I know an older man, a grandfather, who brings his grandson, 6 years old, to play board games. And a 6-year-old is barely able to sit in their seat for 10 or 15 minutes at a time, let's be honest. But here, they learn to sit, they learn to focus, they learn to listen, they learn to win, and they learn to lose. And especially for a 6-year-old, but true for all of us, is sometimes it's hard to lose. And when you see a little boy or a little girl who looks at it and says, well, I'm going to try better next game. Those are just the breaks. That's a shocking experience. And a really positive one. So I've had this amazing experience of sitting down at a table with a group of fellow human beings of all ages, of all walks of life. No technology needed. And learned how to have a real social experience. And so I challenge you all to do the same. Thanks.
Board games, as you saw in the TED Talk, teaches lots of life skills. Social life skills, logic, strategy, attention, patience, collaboration, critical thinking, creative thinking, negotiation and communication. And it's also a lot of fun. So maybe this week you could play a board game with your family, or maybe even you can create one. Have a lovely week.